Book Chat. I'm Reagan.
I'm J.D.
I'm Natasha.
And today we're talking about something oh so important, and that is book titles.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be going over what makes a good book title, what kind of things, you know, authors consider and readers consider when picking up or writing a book.
Yeah.
So I think we should just jump in.
I was going to ask you, like, in what process in writing the Whispers of the Fallen series did you figure out that first title?
That's funny because in the beginning it was called The Diary of Lucifer.
Oh.
Which, you know, it was okay, but
Yeah.
as the story progressed, I'm like, this doesn't
Very
make
literal.
sense.
Okay.
It's very literal,
Yeah.
and it just gives too much away. You want the reader to kind of be intrigued and wonder what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need something that's easy, that's memorable, and that, you know, my book is fantasy and there are dark things to it, so halfway through, I was like, oh, The Whispers of the Fallen.
Oh.
How did you just go, oh, Whispers of the Fallen?
Did it really just strike you like lightning?
Yeah, that was it. I remember I was writing, I think it was chapter 10, where it's a very intense moment between the main character and the fallen stars around him, like, The Whispers of the Fallen. This makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
At least with book titles, you always want to pull some element of the story that doesn't give it away.
Right.
Yes.
One title that I love The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, it's a good.
When
That
you
is a
read
good
that
one.
title, you're like,
It just,
What does that mean?
Like,
Yeah.
sinks into your heart.
it does.
Yeah.
You know,
For
it
sure.
does. So you definitely want to do that, especially in the marketing move, so the reader is intrigued and
Yeah.
is curious about it.
For your later novels, obviously you just mentioned that the book title came to you about halfway through. Did you then kind of plan your next book titles, or did those also kind of come to you in the writing process?
It's funny because the moment I had the title, The Whisper of the Fallen, I'm like, okay, this is the name of the series.
Okay.
And I had all the other three
Just
immediately.
right away.
Right
That's so
away.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about book titles as a reader, I mean, obviously I'm not a writer, but while I'm like perusing the bookstores, things definitely like pop out at me
Sorry.
a little more, you know, depending on the kind of language that's used.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a big fantasy reader, so like I like a good dramatic title.
Like,
you know,
like a long title or like a short one?
No, I always generally like it to be like the Demon King. I'm like, tell me more, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, something like that. That just
Got
like
it, yeah.
captures me, but also just sounds like magical and powerful all at the same time.
And I think it's interesting how the Game of Thrones, even
Yeah,
if that's
see?
the first title, but the whole series is called...
Centers around it.
Wait, is that the title
Song
of the
of Ice and
series?
Fire.
The name of the series is A Song of Ice
Yeah.
and Fire
Fire,
series.
yeah.
The first one's called Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
but it's a phrase used repeatedly throughout the series because it's the Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
you know?
Got it, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's perfect because it's something that you're gonna see in every
Yeah.
single book.
I definitely find like in the first novels, at least with fantasy, again, I mostly read fantasy, it's like the first novel title is like the most important because generally,
That's how you think of it.
right, because generally the first title is what is going to be most closely associated with the plot, like a huge component. Like the Demon King, for example, is a huge part of the plot for the Seven Realms series for Cinda, Chima. And then the rest of the books have an element of the next story, but like the Demon King is definitely like the most powerful and plot-related title of the whole series, and it's like the first book.
I mean, the first book will always be the main gate.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that that stays true to the
Right.
essence of the entire series, and the
Makes
title
sense.
is key.
Well, when I think of, say, like Leigh Bardugo's books, I don't remember her first title, but I remember the trilogy. It's the Grissa trilogy. It's hard for me
Shadow
to...
and Bone?
I-
Or Six
See,
of
that's
Crows?
the thing. Like,
Yeah.
like Six of Crows
Six of
is
Crows.
the
That's a good
duology.
one.
That's
yeah,
a good one.
Yeah, that's a good
But
one.
I don't remember that first title of the first
Yeah.
book. I just know Grisha. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I definitely feel like there can be issues, and as much as we're talking about great book titles, some book titles that might have some issues is if they're too vague,
Yep.
or they're too similar to a whole bunch of other titles we see.
Very
Yep.
true.
You know, like YA really loves
Shadow.
to mix like
Yeah.
an adjective and like something mysterious together and like call it a day. But if it really doesn't like directly tie with the plot when you pick up the
for
book
sure.
or capture your attention right away, like it's gonna be really hard to remember or to associate,
Yes.
which is really important too.
For instance, there's Sarah J. Maas's books. I always
Throne of Glass.
not Throne of Glass. Again, another
Court
very
of-
a court of thorns and roses.
ACOTAR.
Yeah.
ACOTAR. Everyone just says ACOTAR
Because it's long.
it's so hard
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
And then like I always get the second one because it's like a court of wings and
Ruin.
is that the third
No,
one?
that's the third one. A
Court of Mist and Fury.
Yeah, that's it.
See?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but I do love ACOTAR.
I do. Yeah, or like ACOMAF or ACO
And I think
War. ACO War.
Yeah.
and nowadays, I think that's something you gotta take into consideration, especially
Yeah.
with social media.
Right.
That turns
I
into a
think so.
hashtag.
Well, yeah.
you know,
I mean, think about writing that out in a tweet. I love. It's gonna be abbreviated, so make sure to check out how that's gonna be abbreviated.
Exactly.
Like,
There you go.
maybe put all your letters together to make sure it doesn't spell out anything
Yeah.
bad.
I also love one-word titles.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
for instance, Twilight. So, Now every time I see the word Twilight written, I just think of those books.
It's a great marketing.
Can I ask you about the title Twilight? So like in my memory, 7th grade Reagan felt like, wasn't that because his favorite time of day is Twilight? Okay, so there is a reason for the name Twilight.
There's a reason, but it's super vague.
It is super vague. Yeah. But then I also feel like it kind of matches.
And I wonder how like Stephanie then proceeded to name the rest of them, like Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking
I think
Dawn.
if you go with the plot, it kind of like New Moon. It was a new time.
And it was also like werewolves, moon. Yeah. The ribbon one, that was the one that was that's Eclipse. Eclipse. That one I felt like had the least association, but it kind of aesthetically went with the rest of the series.
I think as long as it stays true to the essence of the series, but that's something that you gotta think about. You know, if the reader doesn't connect with that title, if it doesn't draw me in, then you know, it falls flat.
Exactly.
Take for instance the Harry Potter books, or just any books that have the name in it.
I love those.
I know.
So I personally really love the Harry Potter titles a lot. To me, because those are kind of middle grade and again, fantasy. So I like them like Harry Potter, that's always going to be the namesake, and like, what's this book about? You know, like, what adventure is he going to face? And it feels very classic because of that, and I just really enjoy those titles a lot. And it's also just like, I know exactly what I'm getting into, like, especially when I think about it, I'm like, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Who's that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just really fun.
Some intrigue, and like, figuring out where that title fits in that book. Exactly. That's really fun with titles.
And even as a reader, you know you're going to follow that character that you've been with for so long. Yeah. So you're like, he's back. I don't know, you just fall in love with the character even more because you see that title all the time.
Yeah, the connection.
Yeah, that
for
connection.
sure.
All right, that sounds like a bunch of chit chat.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Chit Chat. My name is Bissett, and today I'm going to talk to you about why titles are so important and what makes them really good. Imagine if Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was called Magic Boy. It just wouldn't have the same ring to it, right? I think titles are really important for kind of two main reasons, I guess. One, for like marketing. You have to be able to pick up a book that sounds interesting. And two, as the first way of explaining the plot line. It's kind of like the miniest but most powerful synopsis. Another book that I think does such a beautiful job is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This one to me is lyrical, it's poetic, it's beautiful, but it also explains the plot a little bit. Someone is a wallflower, but that's not so bad. A new one that I adore is Turtles All the Way Down. Now this is one of those special kinds of titles that doesn't make any sense until you've read the book. I had never heard this expression before reading the book. The cover doesn't really reveal what this means, but once you read the book, the title makes sense and it suddenly feels like the most perfect title ever. Titles are super important, so I'd love to hear down below in the comments what your favorite title is. Thanks so much for having me on, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye!
Hey guys! My name is Lauren. I don't know if you already know, but like, I'm here and I'm ready to play a game with you guys. Are you guys ready? Yes, claps, claps, claps.
Ready to win.
Thank you. Ready to win? Yeah, she literally wins everything. Don't know if you saw the last season.
That's me.
Check it out.
I don't know.
Okay, so object of the game, we got some puzzles gonna come up here on this board.
Okay.
And they're gonna fit together to create like a book cover. As soon as you know what it is, shout it out.
Got it.
Good.
Got it.
You guys out home playing, shout it out as well. Say in the comments how many you get.
No, totally shouts to your computer.
Shout it out, like in the middle of anywhere.
I don't care if you're in public or not, just do it.
Alright, y'all ready?
Yes.
Y'all ready for this? Why are you guys running in?
It's okay, we can do it.
The Red Queen?
Yeah.
I told you I'm really good at games.
Oh my god.
Jeez Louise.
There was not even time.
At the end.
I didn't even look at it.
All right,
Next.
number 2.
Oh, the thief? The Queen of Atola? I'm wrong. I don't know.
Cabin in the Woods.
Pride and Prejudice?
Ooh.
Nicholas Sparks?
The Notebook?
The Notebook. Yeah. It's gotta be The Notebook.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay. You gotta catch up. All right, here we go. Here we go. Number 2, 3. We're on 3.
Game of Thrones?
Yes.
But who said it first?
We said it together.
Did we all get a point?
Did we all? Yeah.
We all. Points for everyone. You get a point. You get a point.
On a car?
Nope. Not on this show. Oh, I know this one, but I'm not gonna tell you.
No.
Nope.
The Emoji Movie?
Close. No, I'm just kidding.
Goosebumps.
There you go.
Do we both get a point?
Yes.
I did not know that one. Say it like that. I got it. Thank you very much.
We'll give it to JD.
Yeah, he's slacking.
He needs all
the help he can get.
This is fun.
I know. I designed it. Just
The Mortal
kidding.
Instrument.
Carolyn did.
City of
Oh
Bones.
yeah, you got that.
Thank you.
Really got that shoulder right away.
Ooh.
That's a classic.
Nice broad shoulders. He'd be dress coded if he was in school.
It's too young for me now.
Oh.
The Hobbit.
Still going.
Pride and Prejudice?
I can't.
Jane Austen?
It's a classic.
Jane Eyre?
Jane. Sense Sensibility. Am I right? Can someone just tell me if I'm right? Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, it is Pride.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
There you go.
How many points do I have now? 4?
Yeah,
I lost.
you're
Doesn't
definitely
matter.
in the lead.
I stopped counting after 2.
It doesn't matter.
Is that it?
We're all
Yeah,
winners
Natasha
here.
won.
Yeah.
Again.
Alrighty guys, so that is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe and come back for next week's episode. Bye!